When it comes to comic book characters, Marvel and DC have created some of the most iconic superheroes ever, but who would win if they were pitted against each other in a fight? We've got all the answers for this, and more, in today's episode of Who Would Win. Welcome back, Nerd Squad. I'm your host. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the ultimate hero showdown. In one corner, we have the amazing Spider-Man from Marvel, and in the other, standing strong is DC's Superman. Now, as much as I love these two characters, only one can walk away victorious, so let's get started. For those of you who may not know, Peter Parker was bitten by a genetically modified spider that gave him the powers of a spider, including super strength, speed, agility, reflexes, and the ability to cling to surfaces. He also has a spider sense, which warns him of danger and allows him to dodge attacks almost instinctively. Now, Spidey also has the ability to create webs using his wrist-mounted web shooters. These webs are strong enough to ensnare powerful villains and hold them fast. They can also be used for swinging around the city or for shooting at villains to entangle them like a sticky situation. Now, when it comes to weaknesses, Spider-Man is actually quite vulnerable to certain chemicals such as those found in the Venom symbiote. It's also known that he gets weaker when he's low on food, but don't worry, I'll make sure he eats before the fight. Of course, there's also the fact that he's just a teenager, so sometimes he can be impulsive or reckless, and he is prone to making mistakes that could cost him the fight. But I am sure with great power comes great responsibility, and he'll do whatever it takes to win. And now let's turn our attention to Superman. As we all know, Superman is an alien from the planet Krypton, but he was sent to Earth as a baby to escape his home planet's destruction. He was found by Jonathan and Martha Kent, who raised him as their own son in Smallville, Kansas. Growing up, Clark Kent developed the powers that came with being including super strength, speed, durability, flight, and heat vision. Superman uses his powers to protect the innocent and fight crime, often serving as a symbol of hope and inspiration to people around the world. It should be noted that Superman has a weakness for kryptonite, which is a radioactive element that's found on his home planet. When Superman is exposed to kryptonite, he becomes weak and can even die. Superman also tends to struggle mentally when dealing with beings that are on a similar intellectual level as him, such as Lex Luthor. This could pose a problem since Spider-Man is quite intelligent for his age, and definitely not someone Superman should underestimate. But will it be enough for Spidey to take down the Man of Steel? Only time will tell. Now, before we dive into what would happen if these two superheroes went head-to-head, let's take a closer look at their fighting styles. While neither character is a trained fighter in the traditional sense, both have developed unique ways of fighting based on their abilities. Spider-Man is known for his acrobatic fighting style, using his agility and reflexes to dodge attacks and counter with quick strikes. On the other hand, Superman relies on his superhuman strength and durability to overpower his opponents, although he does tend to hold back and try not to kill anyone. However, if it came down to a real fight, things could get pretty interesting. So let's see how it would go down. Both heroes are standing in front of each other ready to fight. They exchange some words and Superman decides to strike first. He fires a heat vision blast at Spider-Man, who narrowly dodges it. Spidey then shoots a web at Superman's face, trying to blind him. However, Superman swats the web away like it's nothing, and that's when Spider-Man realizes he needs to use his brain as well as his brawn. He starts dodging Superman's attacks and using the environment to his advantage, swinging from buildings and using rooftops as cover. All the while, he's taunting Superman, distracting him, and trying to find a way to exploit his weaknesses. Meanwhile, Superman is growing increasingly frustrated. He's never had to deal with an opponent like Spider-Man before, someone who can hold their own and give as good as they get. As the fight continues, Spider-Man manages to land a few punches and kicks, but Superman is too strong. A single punch from Superman sends Spider-Man crashing into a building. However, Spidey quickly recovers and swings away. He knows he can't win in a straight fight, so he has to use his intelligence and his environment to outsmart Superman. Then Spider-Man notices some kryptonite on the ground from a recent battle. He grabs it and throws it in front of Superman, distracting him. Then he quickly runs up to the Man of Steel and delivers a powerful kick to the chest. Superman stumbles backward, surprised by the kick and the fact that he's been tricked. Spider-Man follows up with a barrage of punches and kicks, but Superman is still too strong. With a single blow, Superman sends Spider-Man flying through the air, but this time, he doesn't follow up with another attack. Instead, he catches Spider-Man and flies up into the sky. Superman looks down at the struggling Spider-Man and tells him that he's going to end this quickly. He flies up higher and higher until Spider-Man blacks out from lack of oxygen. Superman then gently lays him down on a rooftop. As the citizens of Metropolis cheer for their hero, Superman knows that he can't kill even though he could easily end the fight with a single blow. He respects his opponent and their power and refuses to resort to killing him. He figures that this will be enough to deter any future attacks from Spider-Man and the other Avengers. So who won this matchup? In this case, it was Superman. Although Spider-Man put up a good fight, Superman's strength and experience ultimately proved to be too much for him. However, this doesn't mean that Spider-Man didn't do well. After all, he managed to hold his own against one of the most powerful superheroes in the world. What is important to remember is that Spider-Man is a killer, and that's why he fought back. So it wasn't all bad for him. Now it's time for you guys to speak up. Which superhero do you think would win in a fight? Do you agree with our verdict? Or do you have a different opinion? Let us know in the comments section below. And while you're down there, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe, so you'll never miss out on any of our awesome videos. Speaking of awesome videos, it's time for us to wrap things up for today. But before we go, I want to give a big shout out to our supporters. Thank you so much for supporting us. We wouldn't be where we are today without you. So here's a special message just for you. If you want to see your name in this section, then all you have to do is support us. Anyway, that's all I've got for you today. So until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.